welcome to our second Beautiful Bikers online rider prep workshop. This is a series that we started during the COVID-19 a pandemic rather, because we would usually be traveling the country right now, hosting workshops at different locations throughout the country. So the need for the information hasn't changed, and writing has not been canceled. So we want to, in that spirit, still continue to educate women with our online workshops. Our guest for today, and she is an amazing guest, is Robyn Roko Kociensky. Is that how I pronounce your last name? Yeah.
Kociensky. You got to say it like a sneeze.
Kociensky. I just call her Roko, so I never knew how to pronounce her. Never knew how to pronounce the last name. But she is a part of MotoQuest Adventures, and they have some of the most amazing motorcycle tours. Today, she'll be giving us a little bit of background about her tours in Alaska. So Robyn, would you please just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and your riding background?
Sure. So Robyn Kociensky, I predominantly ride like adventure style motorcycles, so upright riding position so I can see what's going on. I can ride on and off pavement, so if the going gets rough, the Roko gets tough. Nice. That was really corny. I hope you guys forgive me, but my jokes are real bad. But yeah, I like to do long distance motorcycle touring. So I've ridden from Alaska, from Coldfoot, Alaska down to Cabo San Lucas, across the United States a few times, and then internationally around parts of Europe, Thailand, Cambodia. So I like to do long distance motorcycle touring, usually by myself, but I also do it as a guide for MotoQuest for a few different tours in Alaska and Baja so far, and I'm sure that we'll be adding more. But I'll give you guys a little bit of
and so for those of you guys that are tuning in, you may have questions as we go through this discussion. There is a Q&A section where you can type your questions and we will refer back to them at the end of the presentation. Please type your Q&A questions here and not in the chat section, because the chat section, they may get lost. As more people chat, it'll be harder to find your questions. So please keep that in mind. Also, we're going to be doing some giveaways throughout the presentation. And those of you that have been registered through Zoom, you've already been registered. There's nothing that you need to do. We will randomly choose winners throughout the presentation, and we'll announce the winners for the prizes that we have. Thank you first to our sponsors, Indian Motorcycle, Polaris Slingshot, Russ Brown Motorcycle Attorneys, and Essence Festival. They are instrumental in making sure that we have the resources that we need to help educate you guys. Robyn, what is your website link for MotoQuest?
It is motoquest.com.
Okay, so I think Eimer, she just posted a question. Is there a link that we can refer to later on? MotoQuest.com is the link for Robyn's website. We are going to put this on our YouTube, on our Black Girls Ride YouTube page, which you guys have to forgive us. It's a little tedious. We're still posting our previous workshop, but this is where they will land. So be ready. You can go there to get the content. So Robyn, if you're ready, let's go right into it. I sent her some questions that a bunch of us who have been planning to ride to Alaska had. And she put this presentation together kind of based on those questions, but I'm sure she's got other stuff that she's going to volunteer. So go for it. Take it away.
Thank you so much. All right, so I'm going to jump to the share screen. Let's see how we make the magic happen. I will share that. And do you see the thank you to the hosts?
I see it. I like it.
Cool. Is there like a little bar at the bottom for the slideshow or no?
Yeah, we can see that, but it doesn't matter, girl. Go ahead. Do what you do.
All right, let's do the thing.
Okay.
So give you a quick little agenda. Do a quick welcome. If you've registered for this, I would love to put you guys on our newsletter list, mostly so we can kind of sweet talk you into having a good time with us sometime in the future. But I also will follow up with an email that'll give you a lot of really good resources for what you should have before you plan to ride up to Alaska. So the books, the maps, the things that I really use, and the things that I have used before working for MotoQuest, and the things that I've discovered or have had introduced to me since I've been working there. So, you know, I'd really love to be able to do that. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and MotoQuest. We're going to give you a little trip preparation advice, give you some resources, and then if the questions that you have are relevant to the current slide, go ahead and fire away. However, if it's not, it might be on an upcoming slide, because I've answered a lot of good questions. And so if it's not on that slide, hang tight. And if I don't ever get around to it, fire away, and we'll definitely get to it.
And so what we're doing, Robyn, is we're going to have everybody just put their questions in the Q&A. That way you can continue uninterrupted, and then we'll answer them at the end.
I love it. Okay, cool. Yeah, if we don't answer it during the slideshow, then we'll get it at some point. So clicking onward. All right, who is this ragtag bunch of maniacs at MotoQuest? We're a motorcycle tour and rental company. We started in 1998 in Anchorage, Alaska. So we kind of know what we're talking about. We do guided and supported tours in over 20 countries, including the US. We rent motorcycles, primarily adventure-style motorcycles, out of Los Angeles, San Francisco, Portland, Oregon, and Anchorage, Alaska. And folks can ride our bikes from anywhere in the Western US, Baja, Mexico, Canada, and up to Alaska. So there, I've done the pitch. That's it. That's all you're getting for a pitch for It's official, like I've done the thing for work.
Nice.
So hi, I'm Roko. If I owe you money, I'm Robyn Kociensky. Born in 1979, I'm a Sagittarius. And I really enjoy riding motorcycles by myself. You can see that here I am riding a Suzuki V-Strom 650 past Salmon Glacier in the southeast portion of Alaska. I dig making new friends. I like to cook. I don't care for crowds. Jam bands are not my thing. Organ meets, not a thing I'm into. And then my official title at MotoQuest is that of a motorcycle vacation addiction enabler. So.
Nice.
I do a lot of different things. I handle a lot of the rentals, external operators, route consultation. I do public speaking engagements like this. I wash motorcycles, not well, but I do wash them. Clean and lube chains, and I guide tours. So I do a lot of everything. And now I'm also writing our newsletters for the time being. So I do a few things. Okay, and then this is our famous truck, Jethro. I'm sure you've heard of it. Decided to put it in there. So Jethro is one of our chase vehicles. And as you can see, it's super utilitarian. It's got a generator, a winch, a fuel pump, blah, blah, blah. It hauls luggage. It goes from Prudhoe Bay to Cabo San Lucas, and it's been the 2017, 2018, 2019 Employee of the Year for MotoQuest. So we're very proud of the trucks.
And it's got a bottle opener. That's very important.
That is important. That's an important tool. So what a lot of people don't realize is that Alaska is not super close. Most maps don't give you a realistic view of just how large Alaska is and just how far it is. So it's, if you were to take I-5 straight up and then get on the Alcan, it's about 3,500 miles. If you were to break it down into 300-mile days, anticipate if you're just blasting highway and not seeing anything fun, you're going to be jamming for 12 days minimum. If you're going from Long Beach.
Okay.
If you're going from Portland, Oregon, it's about 2,500 miles, again, just jamming straight up the highway. So a lot of people will start their ride in Portland, Oregon, and then go up from there because it's a little less of a ride. They'll rent from our facility there if they want to rent a bike and just do one way, drop it off in Portland and then fly, or drop it off in Anchorage and then fly home. So that's an option. And then we do guided supported tours. So we've got a North to Alaska tour that is a full guided thing that starts in Portland, takes you up the Alcan, brings you to Anchorage, all paved itinerary. And we do that across, I want to say 11 days. And there's like a day where we do an out and back ride, which is kind of neat. So there, I plugged that. How far? We talked about that. So people want to know why they should ride in Alaska. And I think it's kind of beautiful up there. If you're into getting a little off pavement, there's some nice scenery. There's a huge oil line that's kind of interesting to not climb on and put in a MotoQuest sticker onto.
Nice.
Not do anything we're not supposed to do. Santa Claus is there. at North Pole, which is just south of Fairbanks, Alaska. There's actually a town called North Pole.
Okay.
Got some waterfalls, beautiful bridges, excellent scenery. It's just pretty up there. Neat stuff to see.
Wow. So, you know, usually we have folks that ride to Hyder. That's probably as much of Alaska as they go into.
Yeah.
So you're like really taking us into the country.
I'm taking you in. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We're going in all the way into Southeast Alaska or into South Central Alaska. So when it
South
comes
Central Alaska. I have
yeah,
to call
exactly.
it.
South Central
Okay.
AK.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm sure there's a gesture that I can do very poorly. It
Don't
might
do
be
that.
ill
No,
received,
no,
so I'm going to
let's
not do
not.
that.
Let's not.
Yeah, go. But yeah, so planning materials. This book right here, The Adventurous Motorcyclist Guide to Alaska, is one of the most useful books that I've ever seen. If you've ever used a Lonely Planet guide, this is the book that is written very much like a Lonely Planet travel guide, and it'll tell you kind of what to anticipate on various roads along the way. Gas stations, lodging, expectations, places to take a nap, cool overlooks, interesting scenery, things that you should check out if you're coming up to Alaska. So this is a great book to pick up if you're considering doing it.
Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. That's my Siri walling. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you're coming up to Alaska, if you don't have a specific idea, it'll give you a million ideas of why you should come to Alaska. And if you do have more specific ideas, it'll help you narrow down exactly what it is that you're going to get yourself into.
Okay.
Another good thing, if you're familiar with Butler Motorcycle Maps, they make one just for Alaska. Although Alaska doesn't have many roads, this at least gives you an idea of which roads are paved, which roads are not. It's not 100% correct. There's a little stretch out of Chicken going over top of the World Highway that should indicate that it's not paved, but it doesn't. But this is a pretty good map to have.
So
Again,
the roads, just real quick, most of the girls that ride, they don't ride dual sport bikes. Are these non-paved roads going to be an issue?
absolutely. Yeah, if you ride an unpaved road, you do not want to do that on your nice cruiser, because that nice cruiser will never look the same again.
Got
The
it.
road up to Alaska will have some road construction. So anticipate that, and you need to be very comfortable riding through dirt, gravel, mud. And it could be for, half mile, it could be for 10 miles. You never know what it is that you're going to get. And we're going to dig into a little bit of that as we continue on. But right now, I'm just kind of giving you some resources. The Milepost, this is a chunky book, and it will give you lots of information as far as what the road conditions are, or where every gas stop is, every plastic outhouse, everything along the road. It tells you everything. And then it makes for great kindling if you decide that you're sick of looking at it or carrying it on your bike. They do also, if you buy the Milepost, they give you access to a digital copy so that you can just access it from your device.
Okay.
So lots of people want to know how they should get to Alaska. You can ride your own motorcycle like this guy did. You can rent one from MotoQuest like this gal did. She looks very excited. You can take a ferry on up. It's not the cheapest way and it's not the fastest way, but it's definitely one of many ways.
Okay.
A lot of people will fly into Alaska and then just rent a motorcycle from us.
Okay.
And then some people will ship their bikes ahead. So this way they'll already be there and delivered, and they just fly in and pick them up. So folks like to know what kind of motorcycles. The 1250 GS is kind of the king up there, but that's not the only motorcycle you can ride. Lots of folks will ride their cruisers up. You just have to be very comfortable riding through road construction. You can see this gal's riding a 700 GS, so it's not that big 1250 or anything. It's a smaller, more compact bike because she's a smaller, more compact rider. And then this guy rode up on a Honda Ruckus. So if it's got two wheels, bring it up. Yeah. So now, a little bit of the wildlife that you should anticipate. On your way up, especially going up the Alcan, you'll see some buffalo. There's 3 different bison herds that you may pass by as you're going up the Alcan. I've passed a few of them. And they usually just chill on the side of the road, but sometimes they're crossing in front of you. You just let them do their thing, man. Some fox, you'll see those guys. Get some sheep and some rams. These guys. Black bear, every once in a while, you'll see them on the side of the road too.
Oh, wow.
Let's see. So there are doll sheep, these guys right here, and they like to make themselves present every so often. And then you see these wild guys hanging out. Sometimes you'll see a MotoQuest guide and you'll see a sweet St. Bernard hanging out together.
Oh.
The moose. And then that
Dang.
wild person. And you'll see some wild feminists sometimes feeding the reindeer. And I'll tell you guys where to find the reindeer farm if you ever want to know.
That's like a real those are like real, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm from
that's real
LA.
reindeer.
We don't see
Here.
reindeer often. So
Yeah, no, there's a reindeer, they call it a reindeer farm, but it's like, they're not harvesting reindeer, they're just kind of hanging out there and like living the good life. And you go out and you feed the reindeer and snuggle with them, and they just live there very happily. And then you'll see some muskox too. There's a muskox farm where what they do is they comb them out and get the hair off and weave it into stuff, and it's super fine. Really, it's like better than cashmere is what they try to tell you because they charge an arm and a leg for it. But these guys actually live north of the Arctic Circle naturally. They were brought to the United States. They were brought to Alaska at one point in time, and we'll dig a little bit into that. So there's the Iditarod dog sled team, which is kind of neat. In Wasilla, so just outside of Anchorage, you can go check out the dog sled teams. And in the summertime, those dogs need something to do, so you can pay to do a little lap around, help wear them out. And then you'll see some wild motorcyclists too.
Nice. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's not bad. So before you go up to Alaska, if you're gonna rent a motorcycle, I definitely recommend renting it at least 12 months in advance. If you're kind of picky, if you've got high standards about your lodging stuff, you want to make your reservations maybe up to 6 months in advance. If your standards are a little bit looser, if you're traveling with 1 or 2 other people, then you can kind of take your time and just show up and get whatever you get. If you've got a squad of folks, you're definitely going to want to make your reservations in advance, because trying to get room blocks can be very challenging, especially in high season. If you're riding your own motorcycle up, the thing to know is that there are not many places where you can get your motorcycle serviced. Make sure you're making your service appointments. It says 3 weeks in advance. I would wager to say 1.5 months to 2 months in advance, because right now there's so many people trying to go to Alaska that you will not be the only person who needs to get your bike done. You're probably going to need new tires when you get up there if you're planning to ride home. You're going to need an oil change, whatever else you need to get done, whatever services you would normally get done. Schedule them out in advance. If you're getting new tires, have them ordered at one of the shops in either Fairbanks or Anchorage, and have them, scheduled to install, whatever else you need. Make sure your banks and credit card companies know that you're going to be traveling, so that you still have access to your funds. I have learned that one the hard way. Whatever your motorcycle requires, whatever kind of tools it requires, make sure you're packing that. Especially any kind of tire repair stuff. So if you've got tubes, make sure you bring tubes. If you don't have tubes, make sure you know how to use a tire plug repair kit. Practice that a little bit on maybe an old tire that's hanging out somewhere. And then also your cell phone, you definitely want to find out what your international phone usage charges might be. Because as you're going through Canada, you're roaming. I know AT&T is pretty good about it. T-Mobile's pretty good about it, but Verizon can be a jerk. And then other phone companies can kind of charge you a lot more. Do that in advance, and then we'll dig into a little bit of border crossing. Do you want to give away anything right now?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do our first giveaway. Go ahead and unshare your screen.
Cool.
And we will do our first giveaway. Again, these prizes are donated by Indian Motorcycle, so we want to give them a quick shout out and say thank you. Our first winner, let's see here. We've got our random winner. So first I'm going to show you what we're giving away. The first thing we're going to give away is a beautiful Indian soft shell jacket. And it looks like this. And I will share my screen so you guys can see it. So this is our, right? Nice. Right. So this is our first giveaway. So the winner of this is Joan Squires. Joan Squires is the winner. And we will reach out to you, Joan, and I need to make a note. Let me make a quick note. Joan Squires.
That's awesome. Congrats, Joan. I'm going to turn on my
Yeah.
fan because it's a little warm in here.
That's a really cool prize on behalf of Indian Motorcycle. And we'll have more prizes to go. If you guys are wondering how to enter to win, and you don't have to do a thing at all, we've already got your email addresses registered. We will announce our random winners throughout Robyn's presentation. If you have questions, I saw someone had their hand raised while she was talking. If you have questions, please be sure to ask them in the Q&A panel, and we'll double back to answer them at the end, allowing her to go ahead and complete her presentation, because you may find that your questions are answered along the way. All right, go ahead, Robyn, back to you.
All right, sweet. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again, and we're going to dig on in.
Somehow we just, the volume got weird. Okay, there you go. You're good.
All right, so border crossing, if you're doing it on your own bike or if you're doing it on ours, these are going to be bits of information that might be super useful to you. You do need to have a valid driver's license, and you do need to have a valid passport. If you're going through Canada to get to Alaska, you do need to have both of those things on you. Oh, good. I made sure I notated that twice. You want to make sure you bring copies of your vehicle registration. If you're renting a motorcycle from us, we will definitely make sure we set you up with that. Make sure you've got your insurance card, because when you get to the border, they may inquire. Certain border stops might be a little bit more pesky than others, especially if you're going into like Hyder and Stewart. As you go into Hyder, there's nobody checking you, but when you come back through to Stewart, they will grill you for everything under the sun. Yeah, you're like, but there was nobody checking me on the way in. Well, where'd you come from? The one road that there is to get in here. I literally took that one road, and they will grill you. So just be up on that. I had to show them all of my documents to prove that I hadn't run away with somebody else's motorcycle. It's like, no, it's MotoQuest. This, like, you guys see hundreds of these all the time, but whatever. They'll drill
That's
me.
the most, I gotta say, I went to Canada for 5 minutes, literally just to take a picture.
Yeah.
And you can getting in, they were kind of strict. What are you doing? Whatever. But the most humbling thing is trying to get home and crossing that U.S. border of reentry.
Yeah.
I mean, they really they put screws to you, man.
Yeah. What were you doing? What are you doing there? Why are you coming back? And you're like,
yeah.
That's vacation. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So all that, make sure your insurance card is up to date. And then if you're a US citizen and you're going through, if you've got global entry, if you've got a global entry card, you can fly through when you're coming back into the States. So if you're going through into Alaska, or if you're going from Alaska through Canada back down lower 48, you can go into the Nexus or Sentry lanes with your global entry card, as long as it's still valid. So little cheater thing if you're doing a lot of traveling. So I know I was asked about personal protection, about, if somebody wanted to bring guns or whatever. So Canada's got some interesting rules. If you're riding up to Alaska, they have some restricted firearm permit requirements, and you're going to want to look all of that up ahead of time. Make sure you take care of all the appropriate documentation. You're going to have to declare them when you go through, because if they search you and they find it, you may get turned around, or you may be incarcerated. They do not take kindly to any kind of like firearms, and even like pepper spray, mace. They asked me repeatedly if I had bear spray on me. Like, maybe I do. So, yeah. Apparently I look like the kind of person that definitely needs bear spray. And then certain knives. So look up what it is. Make sure you do your due diligence to make sure that whatever it is that you feel comfortable carrying is appropriate to whatever their legislature needs, and declare whatever it is that you declare. And then I just generally recommend that you don't bring any weapons. There's generally no need for it. I haven't felt the need for anything. Like, even the bears are not interested in the motorcycle. If your engine's loud enough, they're not interested, and generally they can't keep up with you.
Okay.
So Canada can be pretty strict about entry, and they will deny your entry if you've had any past criminal convictions. So even a DUI does count for that. Human rights violations. And then, let's see, organized crime involvement. So, you know, I've got a colleague who happens to be a Hells Angel. He can't ride through Canada, even though he's working for us. Like, can't do it. Yeah, so there's that. Let's see, no, they consider it organized crime, which, whatever. If you don't have enough money, because they'll even ask you how much money you're bringing through. Or if you have too much money, they might get suspicious. Apparently there's like a middle ground you've got to find. Yeah, I know. Any communicable diseases they don't like. So right now with this COVID-19 thing, they're being real weird. So pay attention to that too. If you decide that you're going to do it anytime soon during whatever's going on right now, they're real weird about it. They're turning everybody around if you don't have a reason to go through. But in the future, when things are back to okay and people can travel again, yeah, they may ask you about communicable diseases, potential to cause excess demands on health insurance services or health or social services, and then any reason that the Canadian government might suspect that you will overstay your visit. So the way that
cash-wise, what is the sweet spot for the amount of money you should bring?
If you kind of guesstimate, depending on, you know, how much gas you generally run through and what your overnight accommodations expectations are, I would budget, if you're riding on your own and doing your own thing, and depending on what your lodging is, I would budget to have $200 per day, somewhere around there, available.
Okay.
Maybe not carry that much cash money on you all the time, because again, you're going through Canada, most places will take credit card, and you'll make sure, like, oh, that's actually a good point. If you're using a credit card, make sure that you are not going to get charged an international transaction fee. So find out from your bank if you're using your debit card, find out from your credit card company if they charge international transaction fees, and maybe find a card company that does not charge those international transaction fees. So every time you get gas, you don't get dinged an extra $10 or something for going international, because that's like a sneaky one that caught me once.
Right.
But yeah, and then entry denied. So it's a smart thing. Fuel is usually a little bit more expensive in Canada, so it's a great idea to top off before you go in. You can check the border wait times online. They do not want you taking photographs at the border. So like if you're sitting there waiting to go through, like they do not like it when you're taking pictures. It's a security issue. Have your passport ready, your vehicle registration handy. If your odometer requires you to push some buttons or do a thing in order to switch from miles to kilometers, it's a real good idea to get acquainted with that before you get to that point. So this way you can have it switched over and you're not doing weird math, or like, oh, it says 100, it's 100 here. You're like, no, it's 100 kilometers per hour. So now you got to do weird math to get it down to like 65, 66 miles per hour. And like, I don't like riding and doing math at the same time. That's where I'm at.
Got it.
If you are a Canadian citizen and you're renting a motorcycle, Canadians can be charged a tax on the value of the motorcycle even if they rent it in the United States. So that's another thing where you got to do your due diligence if you are a Canadian citizen and renting a motorcycle from the United States to go through Canada.
Wow.
Yeah, weird stuff that I've had to learn. So which route? You can see that we've got a few different options. There's the red line, and then there's the black line that goes through. The red line, that is the Alcan.
Mm-hmm.
And then the black line that goes from Prince George, I don't know if you can see my cursor hovering over it. But that going up, this is the Cassiar Highway. And so we're going to dig into a little bit of this. So the Alcan, this red line, you're going to see that it has more services. You're going to see more gas stations, hotels, restaurants, repair shops. There's even a hot spring right around here between Fort Nelson and Watson Lake. So that's a pretty sweet way to go. I definitely recommend that for a first timer going through. Just so if anything's going on with your bike, or you just want more restrooms, more restaurants, more options, that's a great way to go. The Cassiar, which is this guy right here going from Prince George on up, it's about 94 miles shorter. However, it's a little bit slower ride because it's a narrower road. You're going to see way fewer services, not as many hotels, rarely gas stations, and hopefully they will be open. So that's one of those things where, like, if you are comfortable with carrying maybe an extra gas can for a little bit, If you're going on this road, it's a smart idea to have a gas can. If you're going up the Alcan, you're always going to find gas.
Okay.
So there's only 2 ways to enter Alaska by land. You'll see that right there, the red road that crosses over from the Yukon on into Tok. That one is the Alcan. And then on the other side, that one is the top of the world highway in black between Dawson City and Tok. And so that road is unpaved mostly.
Okay.
I like that sort of stuff. It's not everybody's cup of tea.
Not my cup of tea.
Yeah, totally.
At least not yet. You know, I think I would need some seat time before I got comfortable.
I'm gonna get you into it.
Let's do it.
Making it my mission.
Yes.
So here we go. And at some point, there we go. So now we're gonna take a little road trip. We're gonna go north to Alaska, and just taking from the Alcan. So this is where the Alcan begins in British Columbia. So we're way north already, and making our way all the way up to Fairbanks. So when you enter the Alaska Highway, you'll see this cute little sign. Crossing a nice wooden bridge. See some stop signs that say Alaska Highway. It's very exciting. Some of those buffalo we talked about. And that's the hot springs. That's Liard Hot Springs.
Liard Hot Springs? Oh,
yeah.
That's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. It's a natural hot spring, super chill, and just beautiful construction. There's camping nearby. There's a lodge really close by. If you are going to stay anywhere, stay at that Liard Hot Springs Lodge, and then you just walk across the street and go soak. It's the best.
Okay.
And then let's see, I see somebody ping on the Q&A. Cool. And then you find yourself in the Yukon territory. And hey, look at that, there's some signs. So this is the sign forest in Watson Lake in the Yukon territory.
Oh, wow.
And that's a pretty lake. It's kind of nice.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, totally. And then you can find yourself in the city. So Whitehorse, if you needed anything, if you needed to go to a grocery store, stock up on most goods, or if you were having any kind of bike trouble, Whitehorse is where you would stop in the Yukon territory to get that taken care of. And it's kind of what Whitehorse looks like.
Okay.
And this is Destruction Bay. The only reason that I can think of that they call this Destruction Bay, because it's so beautiful, is that it's pretty windy. That right there is a pull-off, so the road is not gravel. That's just a little pull-off area that I came to.
Okay.
But it was pretty breezy, just as a heads up. And then you make your way into Alaska. Take a picture to sign. Why not? Some beautiful lakes if you decide that you want to go down to Skagway. There's a gorgeous ride going down that way.
That is the most gorgeous body of water ever. Wow.
There's more. Here's the thing, is that there's so much more. And as you continue, if you go explore around Alaska itself, not just ride up, there's even more. And I've got all my little spots that I love to go to. But then we go on up. And so now we're going to check out, if we were to go up to Dawson City, which you can see right here is in the Yukon territory, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. This is what Dawson City looks like. So that's Dawson City out in the background. And here we're at King Solomon's Dome, looking across the Yukon River. You do need to ride some gravel and dirt, about 100 miles of gravel and dirt to get there. But every year around solstice, hundreds of adventure motorcyclists will gather downtown and have a shindig, get silly, do some biker games at dusk to Dawson. That's kind of a neat thing in the Dawson City area. And while you're there, you can do a sourdough cocktail, which here I will get you away from that slide because it's kind of gross looking. But yes.
That is gross. What kind of toe is that? What is
so
that?
It's called sourdough cocktail, and it's somebody who's had gangrene that lost a toe or something has donated it to a bar that will drop it into a shot of liquor, and you've got to knock it back, kiss the toe, put it back into the thing. You can't swallow it, otherwise you get fined, because people do that, I guess.
That's gross.
That's gross. But yeah, people will pay good money to do that and then get a certificate saying that they got a sourdough cocktail. So this is what the top of the world highway looks like. And this is that gravel road that I was talking about. And this happened to be, I was on it when it was beautifully maintained. There are parts that are a little bit thicker, some parts that are bumpier. but it's got 100 miles of dirt and gravel. And that's my buddy and I out in Chicken. If you know the state bird of Alaska, it's the ptarmigan. But because it's a challenging word to spell, they didn't know how to spell it. They named the town Chicken instead. Because ptarmigan looks like a chicken. This guy, why not on your way into Fairbanks? Get some toys.
Nice.
And then let's see what else I got. Hang on, the cheesy thing. All right, Parks Highway, Fairbanks to Anchorage. So if you're riding from Fairbanks down to Anchorage, as you're on your way down, Denali is along the way. I will say 85% of the year you will not see that mountain, even though it is huge. It is the largest mountain, I believe, in North America. 85% of the year you won't see it. So don't feel bad if you don't see it, but if you do, it is the most majestic thing in the world. But this is what it looks like as you're riding through.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what, you don't see it because of cloud cover usually?
Yeah, exactly. Because of cloud cover, if it's raining or whatever. But sometimes you get a clear, crystal clear day and just relish in it.
Yeah.
This is fireweed. You'll see a lot of it usually toward mid-late summer. And that's Denali. She's big. She's a big mountain. Sometimes it's fun to stop at the national park and take a picture in front of the sign if you can't get a picture with the mountain in it because it's too cloudy. Like normally you would see the mountain in the background, but that was not happening today.
Okay.
But you will see this mountain. So there's like an old igloo village. Don't understand it. But there it is. I guess it used to be an old hotel and it has since been abandoned, but it's kind of a weird place to stop. Along the way, there's downtown Talkeetna. So Talkeetna is this cute little town as you're coming from Fairbanks back down to Anchorage, where most of the mountaineers will hang out because it's less expensive than hanging out, in the touristy park area. So they'll do little flight seas out of there and go land on the mountain and do a glacier tour from there, or like land on the mountain, get dropped off at base camp and go hike up the mountain, try to summit, do whatever craziness they do. I'm just saying, if you're trying to find the hunky men that are eating nothing but carbs before they go up the mountain, this is the place to do it. I may have gone up for the entertainment. Right? This is the view on a beautiful day. You can see the mountains off in the distance, and that's Denali, the biggest one out there.
Now, is this summertime right now that this is happening?
So this picture was actually taken on Mother's Day 2 years ago.
Wow. So it's like icy always.
Well, so this is in May. They call it the breakup. So all of the ice that had been frozen on top of everything is starting to melt and break up and flow away. Later in the season, all of that will be melted. And by August, like it's all gone. Denali is not as white. Like everything is just less snowy. But this is, if you do a glacier landing, what it looks like. You decide to do a little flight see. And what's wild is you can't see it from this angle, but the top of Denali is kind of behind them.
Oh, wow.
So they're right there on Ruth Glacier, which is a neat thing to do. Again, more of me and my dumb dirt roads. There's a neat place called Hatcher Pass. It's gorgeous. This is what Hatcher Pass looks like as you're riding around. It's a pretty well maintained, like 35 miles of dirt road. Pretty easy to ride. If you've got an adventure style motorcycle, it's easy to cruise. If you're on a cruiser, I'd just say skip it. Okay. So get into riding adventure bikes so you can see all the best stuff.
That's what it's starting to sound like. It sounds like the most fun is had on an adventure bike up here.
Yeah, when you're able to go between pavement and dirt and not care and be very comfortable doing it. So if you get the training to do it and you have the right machine for it, the right tires, it's just so nice to not be confined to just pavement. So, all right, getting on, whatever. I can talk about that all day long. When you come into Anchorage,
we're going to do another one for that, Roko. We'll do another one about adventure riding.
Yeah, totally. We'll do a little dabble of like, this is why you should join me in my crazy quest.
Right.
So Anchorage, that's where MotoQuest is based in. That's where we kind of started. And you can see where we are in Alaska. So there's like the whole South Juneau area, Skagway, Haines, all that good stuff. And then we're way up here. So this is a beautiful scene that's close to Anchorage. It's on your way with one of our gorgeous bikes that I like to ride around on. You can go out to the Kinnick River and go dink around on some dirty stuff. This is a Klutna Lake. This is one of my favorite lakes. There's a beautiful paved road that comes up to here. I like to park my bike, go out and just chill. You can camp up there, get ice cream. There's a great little ice cream shop that's around like right up in that neighborhood. And I'll go out, sometimes just rent a kayak, paddle around for a little bit and come back. But that is a glacially fed lake, and it is very, very, very cold. So you do not want to fall out of your kayak into that lake. Oh, there's the ice cream joint. It's my favorite. Rochelle's. It's for sale too. So, you know, if you got about $1 million to throw into something, about 25 acres to get with it.
Wow.
Decent ice cream. And that's my shop. So that's home for me in the summer. I'm there usually all summer long. Generally, I would be up there right now, but things are what they are. So I'm here in Southern California.
Aww.
So we happen to share a parking lot with the Harley-Davidson dealership, which is super convenient. Especially for riders who are riding their own motorcycles, want to get their bikes taken care of. And this lady right here is Dia Madison. She owns all of the Harley dealerships in Alaska, except for the one in Fairbanks. So she owns those 3 Harley dealerships. Awesome. And then she owns, she's what, 34 maybe years old? Wow. She's rad. And then she owns 2 dealerships and 2 clothing shops in Arizona. She just bought the one in Prescott and one somewhere else in Arizona. So she's scooping it up. She's a rad lady. And this is her hilarious little toy bike that she bought just to be ding dong. We're ripping around on that for a little bit.
Nice.
When you come to Alaska, if you decide that you want to fly in and just rent a bike and ride around or have your bike shipped up, if there's anything that you've forgotten to pack with you for gear, Alaska Leather is up the street from us. These are the folks you want to go see. They've got everything for cruisers, for adventure motorcycles, for snow machines, snowmobiles, all that kind of stuff. But they are a central figure within the motorcycle community. They also work with Abate that does the training. They do motorcycle safety training up there. I know Abate means something different in other states, but in Alaska, their main thing is about rider education. So that's kind of neat. So they're Alaska Leather, we like them. We like them a lot.
Okay.
Not far from our shop happens to be Lake Hood, and it is in the summertime the busiest float plane airport in the United States, and it is busier than Chicago's O'Hare Airport at the height of summer. So you'll see all of these little float planes coming and going, and you can hang out. There's a restaurant with like a little bar if you want to just chill out and just watch the float planes taking off and landing for a couple hours. Great place to do it, and that's right down the street from our shop. So we'll hear them buzzing overhead all summer long, freaking us out. If you've got a BMW brand motorcycle that you want a BMW brand mechanic to work on, the place that you go to is literally called the Motorcycle Shop. Mm-hmm. That is where you get your bike work done. You do want to book with them at least a month out, maybe 2 months out if you're going to try to get anything done.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what Anchorage looks like. There's some pretty mountains in the background. I don't know. It's okay. All right, so if you're continuing south, so if you're going from Anchorage and making your way down, you'll see Anchorage. There's a little town called Hope, town called Seward, and then all the way down gets you to Homer. So take you on a little spin. Do you have anything else you want to give away?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do another giveaway. Go ahead and drop your screen for me.
Yeah.
And so you guys have been seeing a lot of slides. You haven't really seen us. So just popping in real fast, quick recap. We're giving away stuff on behalf of Indian Motorcycle. Our second giveaway is going to be here. And I'll share my screen. Give me a second here. Okay, so we're gonna give away this beautiful leather wallet. Again, if you're in the room, there's nothing else you have to do in order to enter to win. The winner for this is Kimberly Davis. Kimberly Davis is the winner. Let me make a quick note of that. Yeah, congratulations, Kimberly. Let's see, Kimberly. Guys, I'm doing this as we go, so bear with me. And I'm gonna give away another one that way, because we'll just keep it moving. So, okay, so that's this one. Let's go ahead and stop the share there. And our next giveaway is going to be, oh, these are so comfortable. Here. So we're gonna give away a pair of these beautiful Red Wing Indian motorcycle boots. And our winner for this is gonna be Deborah Caldwell. Deborah Caldwell.
Congrats.
Congratulations. Congratulations on that. And we'll let you back to you, Robyn. We'll go back and we'll do some more in a second. Thank you so much. So let me just pause for a quick thank you for this extensive overview. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like we talked about riding the hider, just riding, just going to hider, coming back. So this is a different take on it. It's way more extensive, and I'm really, really interested now in maybe getting deeper into Alaska. So this has been a wonderful presentation. Okay, go for it.
All right, digging back in. Here we go. Let's go to my share screen. All right, so pretty pictures. We're going from Anchorage down to Hope, Seward, and Homer. So that's what the Turnagain Arm is. When Captain Cook was first sailing around Alaska and trying to map everything out, there's this area, this body of water. It's tidal, and it's called the Turnagain Arm because he and his shipmates had to turn again and turn again and turn again. And it's actually really beautiful. So on one side, this is the highway going south, and on the other side is where Hope, Alaska is. And if you look out while you're riding down, you'll see some doll sheep sometimes up in the mountains or up in the hills. Okay. And if you look out to the water, sometimes you'll see, we call them the beluga whales. There's a little point called Beluga Point, and you'll see the whales out there sometimes. So that's kind of neat. And that's just like 20 minutes outside of Anchorage. You get down to a little town called Hope. The Seaview Cafe is a great place to stop, maybe get a snack. And this is what Hope looks like. Really pretty. You can go camp there. There are a couple little lodges and motels that are out there, but it's really beautiful, scenic, calm spot. It's an old gold mining village, and just gorgeous. And as you continue down to Seward, Alaska, it's a fishing town. So you can get some lingcod. This is what Seward looks like from above. So it's tiny, not a whole lot going on out there, but it's gorgeous. And if you were going to do like a Kenai Fjord tour, you could do it two different ways because the Kenai Fjords are out there. You can do a boat tour. So like go out for the day. I recommend not going for more than 5 hours because then it just gets painful. Because then you're trapped on a boat for like more than 5 hours. Yeah, like a 3-hour tour. And if they've got an upgrade so that you get all the salmon you can eat, get it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, totally. Like that's such a deal. I love it. And then you can also do helicopter tours. So those are really great opportunities to really like make your experience larger than life. This is one of my favorite spots to stop and take a pretty picture. It's on the way going between Seward and Homer right before the split. So I like to stop there and take a picture every time I go down. And this is in Cooper Landing, Kingfisher Roadhouse. My friend owns this restaurant and it is phenomenal. And then it's also got a gorgeous view out back. So I like to stop there, get my dine on, and see this beautiful turquoise water and hang out there. So there's that. That's my little secret, like that's the good spot to go to. As you continue south, the most westerly highway point is in Anchor Point, Alaska. And that's on your way to Homer, which is the halibut fishing capital of the world, is what they profess, because the fish are pretty big. So if you like halibut fishing, you can definitely go on a charter and get a giant fish with 2 eyeballs on one side.
So the most westerly, quick question, the most westerly point in the United States, basically.
Yes, yeah. If you are on a motorable road, other than like if you have to fly out to Hawaii, but be able to ride from lower 48 out there, yes, Anchor Point, just north of Homer is the most westerly.
So like that's like a true coast to coast starting point.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Okay.
This is what Homer looks like from above. You'll see that there's like a little sand spit that goes all the way out. You can ride all the way to the end, and there's a beautiful hotel at the very end called Land's End. And while you're there, there's a great bar called the Salty Dog Saloon. So that's kind of a historic place where people like to go and get a cocktail, get a t-shirt, whatever, because it proves that they've been to some faraway place. But what's also cool is you can take a ferry out to a little island out there and go to a restaurant called the Sultry. It's a ridiculous day and it's a ridiculous way to spend some money, but you will never have an experience quite like it. And you're in Alaska, you might as well do the darn thing. So whatever, if you need more information about going out to the Salty Dog or going out to that restaurant, I'll tell you more about it. So now we're gonna go across the Glen Highway. So the Glen Highway takes you from Glen Allen to Anchorage, and it's real pretty. But sometimes you get a little lost. But this is what it looks like as you're going along the way.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
There's some big sweepers as you go, and there's some big ice fields and glaciers along the way. So this is Matanuska Glacier. And if you wanted to, you can actually ride, if you're comfortable riding on dirt, you can actually ride almost all the way out to that glacier now.
Wow.
Yeah, totally. So these guys, this is before the glacier had receded as far as it has, but they rode all the way out there. That's where the muskox farm is kind of out in that direction. I like to stop there, check out the musk. Maybe, it's like $10, $15 to go do a walking tour and you get to see the grounds and learn about some critters. I don't know, why not? I thought it was neat. I'm gonna stick it in there. And then the Richardson Highway. So, okay, in California, everything's by number. And if you try to give an Alaskan like the number highway that you're riding, we don't know what the heck you're talking about. If you tell us what name of the highway is, we can help you. So between Fairbanks and Valdez, along the way, and actually all the way from the Dalton Highway all the way down, that's where you're going to be able to find that big pipeline. So the Alaska pipeline goes through there. And so as you're riding down, you'll see bits of the Alaska pipeline as you go. And you'll also see some pretty nice views.
Wow.
Yeah, there's some big mountains.
I just have a feeling these pictures aren't doing this any justice.
Nope. Definitely not. Like even on like a yuck day, it's still gorgeous. So there you go. So there's that pipeline I was telling you about.
Okay.
And then as you're going into Valdez, this is the Worthington Glacier that'll greet you along the way. And you can actually pull off. And if you wanted to, there's like a little area that's on the other side of it that you can hike up to the glacier, knock off a chunk of it, take it with you, make a glacier cocktail when you get to your hotel. There's gorgeous waterfalls along the way. This is just one of many waterfalls. And if it's rained recently, then there's like hundreds of waterfalls. If it hasn't rained recently, there's at least 5. And they're pretty significant. There's also a fish hatchery out there, which you will often see bears scooping up their cheap lunch. So there's some lumps in the background. Look at that cute guy. He's adorable. There's the bears. So yeah, bears hanging out doing their thing. Valdez is beautiful. It's a harbor town. Again, more fishing happening, people doing kayaking stuff. Fish derbies are happening, whatever. It's a neat thing. I dig it.
Nice.
So the Edgerton Highway is what takes you from Kenny Lake out to McCarthy. McCarthy is where there was an old copper mine. It's the largest copper mine strike in North America in history. And you can ride out there, but you have to be comfortable riding dirt because it's 60 miles of unpaved road, and it used to be old train tracks. So you have to also be aware that sometimes there might be a railroad spike coming up from the ground. You want to not go so fast that you can't avoid that.
Right.
But it's real pretty on your way out. Hang on, pavement ends. And then there you go. So there's like the old fish wheels. So you can see how folks will put a fish wheel out there and catch their salmon. You can ride across these crazy bridges that are very narrow. They're pedestrian bridges, but our bikes with the side cases just fit in there. Just fit. And then that's the old copper mine. So what happened is when they decided to close down the mine, they told everybody, all right, I know you're getting ready for breakfast, but we are sending everybody home right now. We're closing it down. So you need to get on that train. Otherwise you are stuck here and you got to figure your own way out. And so you can see how they just abandoned everything. They left everything kind of as it was. They've spruced it up a little bit, but like you can see they just left their dishes out. Doctors left all of the stuff, all their medical stuff there.
Wow.
Folks just kind of abandoned it. Yeah. So these are some of the old barracks. And then this is the town of McCarthy, which is kind of out there. They've got some bars and some hotels and some lodges, and you can kind of go zip around and go check out the neighborhood and the old cemetery. Go see, you know, old abandoned buildings. Who doesn't love that? But it's cute. It's beautiful scenery. And again, if you're an adventurous type, the Denali Highway, that's going to take you across. And Denali Highway was historically the road that would take people out to the mountain, because the mountain's out here. And so it's 100 miles of unpaved road. So you got to be real comfortable with it. And the pavement ends right around here. This is Tangle River Inn, or, you know, these are the Tangle Lakes. And then that's what it looks like from above, kind of toward the fall. There's some bridges, dirt roads. And they're pretty well maintained. Like if you're comfortable riding on a dirt gravel driveway, just think about doing it for like 100 miles and you're all set. It's just
100 miles. It's just 100 miles.
It's just 100 miles of dirt and gravel driveway. No
That's
big
crazy.
deal. No big deal. If you decided you want to get wild, go beyond the pavement, get off the maintained road, you can go ride around and do some water crossings and stuff. Don't do it with your Harley. Do it with these silly things.
Right.
This is how we wash our bikes in Alaska too.
That's hilarious.
This is how we make sure the skid plate works.
What?
Put that right there.
You guys are crazy.
Yeah, if folks are super interested in doing dual sport stuff, I can talk to them more about it, because this is what it sometimes looks like.
Oh, wow.
Get a little slick. But this is like the dream. That's when you can see Denali. You're going across the Denali Highway, and like it's just fabulous. Like that's a clear as a bell day. You don't get them very often, but when you do, you have to enjoy it. All right, Dalton Highway. Now this is the bad mamma jamma. If you are not a dirt rider, don't even bother. It's 417 miles of nightmares. However, if you're into that sort of thing, here we go. So this is where it is. You can see it's at the top of the world. It is the northernmost road that you can ride. It is Prudhoe Bay is the northernmost point in North America.
Northernmost point. Okay.
Northernmost motorable point in North America that you can drive to, right? And the pavement does in fact end. You get to the Dalton Highway sign. See that little gravel around them? That's the best part of the road. It's just getting ugly from there. So do some riding. You see that pipeline. It's cool. And then some gravel. That's nice. So they have in some areas decided to pave it just to see what would happen. And because there's permafrost, what happens is there's a layer of frost. When it melts, that road buckles and like the pavement just drops out from under you. So in those areas, when you see pavement, don't go too fast, because that stuff does, it's worthless. You'll wish it was dirt. And then sometimes, because they spray that dirt with calcium chloride to keep the dust down for the trucks, because, okay, the only reason that road exists is so trucks can get all the way up to the oil rigs. Okay. The only reason that road exists, to get up and service all the oil companies. We have no business being on it. Motorcycles have no business being on it. It's their road. So they spray it down with the stuff that when it gets wet, it's super slick. And you can see that this particular rider has done some sliding around. And at one point in time, she did slide into the ditch, but thankfully it was nothing but mud. So we picked her up. She was fine. We continued on, but it's slick up there. If you do not enjoy that sort of stuff, don't do it. But if you love that sort of thing, I'm here for you. And that's how you get to the Arctic Circle. So you have to ride that gnarly stuff in order to get to the Arctic Circle, if that's on your list. And once you're there, you can become certifiable or certified, whatever it is, and get a cute little certificate that you've done the thing. And then continue on. All right, so here we go. If you continue going north, you're going to go through Adigan Pass. It's kind of pretty. And that gets you going through.
Wow.
And there's 240 miles between gas stops, so you definitely need to have a gas can with you. You need to top it off. Yeah, it's crazy. Or you have to have Jethro with you, because it's got a fuel pump on it, and we make sure that we keep that thing full.
Okay.
And okay, so that's the muskox just hanging out in the range. They're hanging out north of Adigan Pass, and they are happy in the cold, cold weather. And finally, you get to Prudhoe Bay, which is Dead Horse, Alaska, and pose like a dead horse. Why not? So you'll see that there's these huge trucks for the oil industry. These are monstrous. You can't even compare. I wish that there was a person there just so you could see, like, oh, their head is only up to like this little thing. These are huge. Wow. And this is what the Arctic Ocean looks like in June.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
That's June?
That's June, and then sometimes this is what June looks like. From year to year, you never know. So some people will go and jump in, splash around the Arctic Ocean, and then on the way back down, the bikes are dirty. You do need to wash them. It's very important. There I am, scrubbing up. So if you're going to do a crazy thing like this, if you've got a chain on your motorcycle, make sure it's loose enough to accommodate the terrain with the dirt and the mud. Wash your motorcycle afterward because that calcium chloride does dry on like ceramic. Clear the mud from the moving parts, the brake components, the controls, all that good stuff. Get the crud out of the radiator. And then you definitely want to take at least 6 days if you're going from Anchorage to Prudhoe Bay and back, because that breaks it down in chunks that are kind of more doable. We don't want you killing yourself. So when to go? I saw that somebody was asking, like, when is high season? When's the appropriate place to go? So Alaska does have 2 seasons. One of them is winter.
Jesus.
And then the other one is road construction. So between May, usually between early May until early September, that's the riding season in Alaska. So that's high tourist season. That's when you're going to see that prices are a little bit more expensive. But that's when everybody comes up there because that's when the ideal time to go drive around, ride around, do your thing.
Okay.
So why is there so much road construction? You can see that little sign is showing that there's some bumps. You can kind of see that there's some wavy bits in the road. And when I was telling you about frost heaves, that's what those are. So as you're going on paved roads, especially as you cross into Alaska, when you go through Tok, this is what that road looks like. Because the ice melts under it and it will buckle under you. So you think that you're moving along at a good clip and then you get tossed. So don't go too fast. When you're in the Yukon Territory and in Alaska, don't go too fast just because you're seeing a straightaway. Like that stuff gets gnarly and bumpy. We also have potholes like you've never seen before.
Oh my God. Is that like a person inside of a hole?
That's from Titanic.
I'm about to say, I thought that's some great Photoshop. I thought New York potholes were bad.
Yeah, no, Alaska potholes will take a whole VW bug. It'll take actually a whole VW bus. Like it'll take everything out. So when you get to road construction zones, and you will, typically they want motorcyclists to come to the front of the line. They want you to, if there's no oncoming traffic, if it's safe for you to do so, they generally want motorcyclists in Alaska to come to the front of the line. The reason being, not for your safety, it's so that when the pace truck gets moving, if a motorcyclist goes down, they can see it, they can stop the works, get them back up and continue, like get them back on the road so that production can continue on. If you're between 2 RVs, and there's a lot of RVs up there in the summertime, if you're between 2 RVs, they'll never see you go down, which means that everything will get delayed. And like that just costs the whole operation more money. So that's the real reason they want motorcyclists up front. What I have learned is that sometimes they are not friendly. So we call them the lollipop girls. It's usually women, really cool, interesting women who are working the stop sign and stopping traffic. What I have learned is to go up and just start chit-chatting with them, put my kickstand down, smile real big, and how are you doing today? And every once in a blue moon, I'll get a sourpuss that says, that other cars were waiting first, you need to go to the back. And I'll just turn off my engine, put my kickstand down, smile real big and say, I'm sorry, I don't speak English. How can I help you?
That is hilarious.
We're from Norway. Like just lie, just straight up lie. If you happen to have another language skill, go with it, but just smile real big and do nothing but like be pleasant and cheerful and like, okay, well, we're going now. And like, as soon as the pace car goes, just take off with them, smile and nod, man. Just act like you don't know anything and just be nothing but sugar and sunshine.
Oh my God.
Yeah, totally. Whatever. I've gotten a few pesky people who've been real rude about it and threatened me with various threats, and I've had to explain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've had to explain to them, like, the reason why we're doing this is so that we don't slow down all of your production. And that's why generally, well, this stop, we don't do it that way. I was like, that's cool.
But we're going by.
Yeah, we're not moving though. We're not going to the back of the line. Sorry. This is for our safety.
Right.
If you want, call a state trooper and they'll defend it. Actually, call my housemate's a state trooper up there, so that works.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So road construction realities, it's there. It can be kind of dirty, dusty, muddy, but they're usually pretty friendly. Stop and take a picture with them.
Okay.
So Alaska state bird. I don't know if people have heard of these things, mosquitoes. They're actually not that bad. It's the ptarmigan. That's what I was telling you about. It looks kind of like a chicken.
Right. So the mosquito carrying off the person, what is that? What is that?
So a lot of people have heard about the mosquitoes in Alaska, and they are real freaked out by the whole bug situation. If you are on a motorcycle, I have learned, as long as you are riding, those suckers cannot keep up with you. They're pretty fast, but they ain't that fast. When you get off the bike, if you're going to stop and like hang out for a while, if you're going to stop and take some pictures, what I've learned to do is to maybe just leave the motorcycle running for a little bit so it stays warm. Those mosquitoes will flock to the heat of the motorcycle while you're off taking your pictures real quick. And then once they figure there's nothing there, that's when they'll find you. So then you jump back on your bike and get back on with it. In general, if you are not like traipsing through the woods, if you are not going out on a big hike, it's not a big deal. If you have some DEET, so like bug spray, put a little bit of that on you, you'll be fine. So it's not nearly that bad. If you are on the Dalton Highway, so that super muddy, crazy road, when you get north of the Yukon River Camp, that's where the huge swarms happen. If you are not riding that road, you will never have to deal with that. As long as you are on your bike and moving forward, they will not be a problem. The problem happens when you have to stop your bike and like do a repair on the roadside. That's when you want to make sure you have your insect repellent. And the good news is Alaska is full of places where you can buy insect repellent.
Okay.
We do have commerce.
Like, dude has a net over his face. Oh no. That's wild. That's wild.
So you want to wear a full face helmet in Alaska. Use your repellent with high percentage of DEET. Don't be stopping at stagnant water, and when in doubt, try more throttle. Hang on, let's see. What do I do?
Yeah, that's a lot.
There's some mosquitoes. So there's our DEET. There's the more throttle. That's all you got to do. Just more throttle.
Yeah, okay.
That's all. So, okay, bears. People ask me a lot about that. So bears and your decreased value on the food chain. So black and brown bears, they're attracted to interesting smells and they avoid loud groups. So just have fun, sing some songs. I tend to sing in the lower tone because I like to scare them away. And then the polar bears, however, they live way up north. So if you're way up in Prudhoe Bay or you're way up in the Northwest Territories, that's where those guys are. They are not afraid of humans. They think that we are delicious and they will definitely pop in on you. Aren't they cute?
Until you said they think we're delicious.
They're adorable until they try to snack on us. The thing that you need to be aware of is, although these moose are super cute, they will walk right out in front of you and not think anything about it. So be aware.
Wow.
Yeah, they're dumb. They're real dumb. They will run right out in front of you. And then there's these guys, the RVs. These are your worst nightmare. Good news is this one's not a problem to us anymore.
Oh, wow. That's the same one?
No, it's a different one. But what you'll often see, so RV drivers are notorious for not paying attention to what they're doing on the road. Like they're busy playing with all the buttons and figuring out, how does this thing work? It's a rental. We have no idea. And like, they're not paying attention to motorcyclists. So be aware when you see an RV on the road, if you're trying to pass them, chances are they're paying no kind of attention to you. And they may inadvertently run you off the road, not even knowing that they did that.
Wow.
They won't even pull over. I've seen it happen. Just give them their space. If you can get around them safely, do it. But if you can't do it safely, then hang tight because they're bigger and they will take you out. So, all right. So for safety, beware of moose. Practice bear safety. Definitely buy traveler's insurance. So it'll cover any kind of incidents that you have on the road, or if for whatever reason you have to cancel your reservations and you can't get a refund, Travelers Insurance will take care of that for you. Make sure, okay, phone and data service does not work outside of towns. So when you leave a town and you are on that long, like 300-mile stretch of highway, that cell phone does not work. Make sure you've got some way to communicate if you have an emergency. So satellite phone or some kind of transmission device is what you will absolutely need.
Okay.
Make sure you enjoy your scenery, but keep your eyes on the road and take breaks regularly. You want to stay fresh. You want to continue to enjoy your surroundings. So if you're doing like 500-mile days, you're going to be exhausted. You're not going to see anything, and then you're going to leave yourself susceptible to injury and other mistakes.
So you recommend 300-mile days at the most?
At the most. Beyond 300, it stops being fun because it's nice to stop and look around and just enjoy where you're hanging out. Like enjoy the spots that you're going to. Sometimes, you know, you got to haul like a 350-mile day just because there's nothing to see in between stuff. That's fine. But, you know, for me, I find that it's more fun if I have the opportunity to stop and like stretch my legs, go for a walk, see what's going on in the area instead of just being confined to the motorcycle the entire time. So tools, make sure you've got your tire repair and hand tools that work for your motorcycle. Make sure you've got some kind of roadside assistance for your motorcycle. Thing to note about roadside assistance in Alaska, even if you've got AAA or you've got American Motorcycle Association, anything that you have, please be aware that you are somewhere that is very remote. It can take several hours, it can take a few days for roadside assistance to come out to you. Okay, so if you don't know how to handle whatever's going on with your motorcycle, this is not the place to learn that. Make sure you know how to change your tire, or at least how to plug your tire, how to deal with flats, how to deal with basic maintenance of your motorcycle, basic roadside repair, and be prepared to handle stuff on your own.
So if let's say I was on a MotoQuest tour, do you guys handle that?
Yes, we do.
Awesome.
Yeah, we got a spare motorcycle. We just pulled that thing right off. I'm like, all right, cool. We'll deal with this at the hotel. Let's be cozy and comfy.
Nice.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the best part of doing the tour is like, there's a spare motorcycle on it. We'll just put you on that for right now. No big deal. We're having a problem with this bike. We'll tinker with it when we get back to the hotel and we got a beer in the hand. Sounds good.
Nice.
Or sparkling water in my case. But yeah. So yeah. Your tires, it's cool if they can last your entire trip, but otherwise make sure, again, you order ahead, have them prepared to be put on in Anchorage or Fairbanks. And for riding gear, you want to plan for all occasions. So if you plan to layer, that's great. You want to anticipate rain, you want to anticipate cold weather, you want to anticipate sleet, possibly snow sometimes, depending on when and where you're going. There's freak storms. As you go past glaciers, you'll notice that they create their own weather system. So sometimes it will drop 20 degrees as you go past a glacier. So as you're getting ready to go past one, you know that you're about to do a big glacier ride, like especially going into Valdez. I always pull over, put on an extra layer because I know the temperature is going to drop about 20 degrees. So now I made a cute little checklist for you guys, depending on what it is that you're doing. So everybody, if you're on your bike, if you're on our bike, if you're on a tour, if you're doing your own thing, whatever, make sure you got your driver's license, your passport, your credit card, your cash, your trip insurance. If you're renting a bike from us, we'll make sure that you have the registration, vehicle insurance, roadside assistance. We'll help you with route planning, and we'll make sure you've got fresh tires on that motorcycle. And then if you're on a tour, we'll also make sure that we've got a guide who has a satellite phone. We'll make sure that you're enrolled in Global Rescue, so if something happens to you, we can get you extracted as quickly and safely as possible. If you're on a tour, we take care of your overnight accommodations. We always have a gas can. We've always got spare gas just in case, you know, it happens, you run out, whatever. There's a truck with gas, no big deal. We make sure that we carry critter repellent on us. We've got tools and we've got parts. So if you need new brake pads, whatever else installed while you're on the road, we take care of that for you. But otherwise, if you're doing this yourself, this is all the stuff that if you're doing it all by yourself, you want to make sure you have with you.
Wow.
So we just make it easy.
Yeah.
So there's that. Let me see what else I got. World Famous Alaska Highway. Yeah, so welcome to Alaska. It's cool stuff. You can ride bikes. See. Oh yeah, we do guided supported tours all around the world and the Southwest. Y'all live out here, you know what's going on. Pacific Northwest, we do the Lewis and Clark tour, which has some windy roads on it. Pacific Coast Highway, I'm sure y'all are very familiar with this gorgeous area.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do Isle of Man, and it's right before the TT, so we get to watch the practice runs, and that's kind of a neat thing.
Wow.
Yeah, totally. We go out to Romania, and so we actually have a colleague who's Romanian, so he's the guide for this tour, and he's actually from the town that Dracula's from, but these are the roads that you should anticipate riding in Romania.
Ooh.
Yeah, kind of fun, little roller coaster. We go down to Peru, which is phenomenal, go to Machu Picchu, and then the roads in Peru are fabulous. We do an adventure ride that goes all the way down to the southernmost tip of South America, Tierra del Fuego.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
You have to be very comfortable riding off-road for that because it's very windy and deep gravel sometimes. New Zealand is a beautiful paved ride. So we do southern New Zealand, where there might be some sheep. And then we do a few different Japan tours. So if you wanted to do Japan, our founder is originally, so he started off the whole thing because he was teaching English in Japan. And he bought a little motorcycle, a little 250, and started tootling around Hokkaido with it. He was teaching English, he was learning Japanese, and made a bunch of motorcycle friends. And now those are all the people that 21, 22 years later, he goes back to Japan and does tours and like has his friends involved in it. And like you get to meet all these really rad people staying in these beautiful places in Japan. Right when all the cherry blossoms are blooming, we do stuff, and riding on the wrong side of the road. And then we do, a tour during the MotoGP out there. So, a little bit of stuff. We go to Thailand and Laos. And then we do a crazy trip to India. So you've got to be an absolute maniac to go on this tour.
I seen video of riding in India. I'm going to pass.
Yeah, totally.
Opportunity.
I might not be quite ready for that, but overall, we wish you a safe and happy journey.
I love it.
So that's a little bit about what we've done. I'm going to stop sharing.
I love it. I love it.
Let's see what we've got for Q&A if I've missed anything. When is
high?
We nailed that. That's between May, mid-May until early September. That's high season, so that's when prices are going to be elevated.
It says, you mean I wasn't supposed to take my Ultra Classic across the Dalton Highway or the Chicken? I conquered my fears of dirt and gravel while traveling from Illinois to Chena, Alaska. What an amazing trip.
Good job, Kathy. Here's the deal. You ride whatever it is that you're capable of riding, whatever you feel most capable of doing. And if it's your motorcycle, knock yourself out. Just make sure you've got the right tool for the job. And as long as you're comfortable doing it, we just want you to have fun. So that's awesome that you did that. I'm stoked.
Wendy, she said, most of us ride Harleys or Indians. What is your suggestion for the type of bike? What we ride doesn't seem to cut it.
Well, okay, so Kathy says that she did it, so it's doable. It's totally doable as long as you're comfortable doing that. However, if you want to mix it up a little bit, there is nothing wrong with trying something different. If you want to go to a dealership, throw a leg over, like a BMW, if you're on the shorter side, a BMW 750 GS, they've got scooped out low seats and they will get you. Okay, so I know it sounds scary, but here, I'm going to grab my seat height thing over here. So a 750 GS with a low seat is 31.1 inches, and that seems really tall until you're actually sitting on it, you put your weight on it, your side case is on it, so that's before you put any weight on it.
Got it.
Once you have all the weight on it, like it swishes down a little bit, so shorter folks are really happy with that. I'm 5'8", I look like a bear on a tricycle when I ride those. So if you're a short person, start with that, and then maybe throw a leg over maybe a 1250 GS, especially if you're used to a powerful motorcycle. A 1250 GS is a great bike. It's super powerful. You'll want to do some off-road training. And if you want to do any of these dirt roads, start doing some off-road training. There's a few different companies, especially in California, that do it. There's small dirt bike training that does it. And then West 38 Moto, they do a training, but you got to bring your own bike. Rawhide Academy, they do women specific as well as gender non-specific riding things, and you can rent bikes.
Yes, that's Aaron's.
Yes, Yeah, so Erin does that.
Yeah, I want to take the rawhide class
Awesome.
with her because, you know, Erin's not super tall. So if she can handle it, you know, it's definitely confidence building to see her do it.
Cool.
And know that you could conquer it. So Katrina wants to know, how much do the tours cost if we want to take a guided tour?
Well, okay, so we've got a few different tour options. I'm going to do a little cheater over here because I can't remember the prices of anything anymore. Let's go here, MotoQuest.com, Alaska tour. There we go. So we have a myriad of Alaska tours. I would tell people to anticipate spending, depending on the number of days, for our public tours. Like they're already set in stone. Here, come on, buddy, load up. So I'm gonna just drop a quick little linky. Where are you hiding, bud?
Yeah, you can drop it in the chat, and then folks can
There you go.
kind of take a look.
So this is all of our Alaska tours. It's my quick and dirty way to send folks to that. But let's dig in a little bit. If you were going to do a one-way doing north to Alaska, and then like the two things that I would recommend most, especially for folks that might not be super excited about dirt, Best of Alaska is a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
Best of Alaska is one where you fly into Anchorage and then do a loop out of Anchorage. So I guide that one sometimes. But North to Alaska is the one that starts in Portland, ends in Anchorage. And that one starts off at, if you're sharing a room with a base motorcycle, $4,550.
Okay.
And that is a 12-day itinerary. So here, I'll drop the North to Alaska.
And it's called North to Alaska?
Yes. So here, I'll drop a little link there for North to Alaska. So that's if you were going to ride, you can ride your own bike, but then you got to deal with how you're going to get your own bike home.
Where are you dropping the links? Because I can't see them.
Oh, I'm putting them in the chat.
Yeah, I'm not seeing
Is that
them.
a good place, or should I put them somewhere else?
I'm not seeing them in the chat at all.
Am I just, oh man, I'm just sending them to Marquita. I'm sorry about that. Here, let me do.
Oh, girl, send them to all panelists. There you go.
There we go. There we go. Okay, so let me try that again, because clearly me and my big brains can't handle this anymore. Sorry, Marquita. Sorry, guys.
Okay, there we go. Good. Okay. Oops. Yeah, I'm interested in that North to Alaska ride, Portland to Anchorage. That sounds amazing.
Totally, yeah. And then if you were to do, because you guys can do that, and like what we often have is we'll have like a group of friends that'll all join up together and just do the tour together.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll have single folks too that'll just join independently because it's a thing that they wanted to do, and they wanted to have the safety and the security of having.
And is that pretty much paved, or do we need to have an off-road bike for that one? For
it's mostly paved. It's paved. Yeah, you're gonna have some road construction along the way. Like as long as you're comfortable with road construction, you can totally do that.
Okay.
Yeah, North to Alaska. The bikes that we supply are always going to be the adventure style motorcycles that go up and down. So if you want to use our bike, that's what you're going to get. If you want to use your own bike, that's fine. But then you also have to figure out how you're going to get it back south.
Got it. Well, you got to ride home.
Well, there's that. Yeah. And that's the thing is some people have the time to do it and some people don't. And some people would rather spend a few extra bucks and just rent a bike so that they don't have to deal with it. It's not their bike. And then what's wrong with it?
So this right here, this double occupancy includes your lodging and everything.
So it's your lodging, it's your motorcycle, it's paying for the spare motorcycle to be there, your guide, your support driver, the support truck, which is hauling up whatever luggage you've got. We've got first aid, satellite phone, all that good stuff going on. We will not be paying for your airfare. We don't pay for meals on the road, but we do take you out for a really nice dinner before we get going. We take you out for a swell dinner at the end because we don't want to dictate what every single tour is going to be eating. It just doesn't make sense for us. So by not trying to build that into the pricing structure, it means that we have a lot more freedom.
Right.
And then like if you wanted to do a flight seat or you wanted to go do a boat tour, like that's not included in it, but you're totally welcome to go spend your money and do the thing. Knock yourself out.
So the dates, so you said it's a 10-day?
So going north to Alaska, it is 10 days of riding. We sell it as a 12-day but that's including like the day that you fly and the day that you fly out. So it's 10 days of riding, and there's like a day off, quote unquote, but that day off, you've got the opportunity to go ride down to Skagway and back, which is gorgeous. You should absolutely take it. It's amazing.
Okay.
And that beautiful blue-green lake that you said was super beautiful.
Yeah.
That's where that takes you.
Okay.
So there's that one. If you just wanted to fly into Anchorage and do a loop around Alaska, you can totally do that. And that's where the Best of Alaska suits that bill. And that one's an all paved itinerary too. We just kind of revamped that itinerary. So we're going to do a little research on it this year to see if our new revamping works for us or if we need to like revamp a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But we're trying out some new stuff, which I'm pretty psyched on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this sounds amazing, man. Guys, if you have any more questions, go ahead and drop them in the Q&A. Robyn, will you put your contact information in the chat so folks can reach you if they need to? Maybe they might want to book a group tour. We're thinking of planning something. We'll keep you guys posted if we did do something, and maybe we can work out a group rate or something with you guys. So we'll stand by for that. Right now, we're just trying to get some information. I know that we constantly have a lot of folks that are interested in taking the ride, but don't really know where to begin. So Robyn has given us tons to think about, like a lot
an overwhelming amount of information.
The thing is, when I see people ride to Alaska, again, it's just a hider, just to get the sign, and then they're out of there. I like the fact that you're actually going into Alaska and showing, some really cool stuff to make it feel like a vacation. Is more than just grabbing the sign saying, "Hey, I did it," So I'm excited about maybe having some experience in Alaska to say I rode the roads. I'm not really built for the northernmost ride yet, but I'm gonna get there. I definitely am gonna get there. If you guys, so Roko, she's gonna put her contact information on here. We will, Roko, do you think you can make the PowerPoint available for us to share with everybody who emailed?
So what I'm going to do is I'll actually send out a supplemental email that gives the information of the resources.
Yeah.
The PowerPoint, I got to hang on to. That's my... No
problem. Do your thing. I totally get it. But I like the resource email just so people can have something to hang on to. We'll make sure to get that to you. The poster, keep us posted on that off-road. So the rawhide class. Yes. I'm going to bring... I'll actually talk to Erin and see if we can't schedule an online rider prep workshop with her to talk about taking that rawhide class. So stand by for that. We'll definitely bring you guys more information on that. I think that's it. Do you have anything to add, Robyn, before we bounce out of here?
I'm super psyched that I had an opportunity to talk to the beautiful bikers today. So this is such a great thing. I've been wanting to do this for so long, and I know that it's so much information.
It is.
And I really appreciate y'all for coming and checking it out. I appreciate you guys paying attention. I know that sometimes slideshows are kind of boring.
You are hilarious though, so you made it fun, which is a good thing.
My corny jokes work out nicely.
Man, listen, I love it. I think we might have one more giveaway if you don't have anything else, Robyn.
I got nothing else. That's it. Let's give some stuff away.
Okay, awesome. So let me go ahead. Let's shut this down. Let me see. We have these wonderful classic leather gloves that I think somebody might really be into. Hold on a second. So this is going to be our next giveaway on behalf of Indian Motorcycle. We want to thank them again for all of their support. Hold on here. So stand by again. If you're registered, you're already entered to win. The winner of these gloves is Shayna Peterson. I'm not sure if it's Shayna or Shauna, but it's Shayna Peterson. And we will reach out to you, Shayna, to make sure that we get you those gloves. Let me make my quick note. And
so normally when I do presentations, I do take a selfie. So I'm going to do like this. I don't know. I'm like trying to get a picture here.
Let's do it.
There you go. Everybody look cute. Oh, you're so good at that. Thank you. And then hang on. Let me put the screen on the black girl's right so this way they see that that's, there we go. Everybody look cute again. Here we go. Ready? Cheesums! You guys are better at it than me.
That's so much fun. Okay, well, we're gonna sign off now. I'm gonna thank everybody so much for tuning in. We had a great group tonight. Stand by for more of these. Again, we'll be posting stuff on YouTube. It just takes a lot to get the videos uploaded, but I'll be posting this one and our previous one to YouTube this week. Robyn is gonna follow up with an email of resources for you. And if you guys have any questions at all, you can always inbox us on Facebook, or you can email me directly at blackgirlsridemag@gmail.com. Just a couple of things that we've got coming up for International Female Ride Day on August 22nd. We're going to be doing our Fallen Riders Ride from Long Beach to Calico Ghost Town in honor of our favorite fallen female riders. If you have riders that you want to have us recognize, please feel free to email your info for that. We will have the save the date flyer sent out and posted up shortly. Also on Labor Day weekend, we are heading to Houston for the Houston Bound on the Ground ride. And I've got a challenge out for folks to ride from California to Houston with me. So please check out all of our posted information for that. If you have rides that you'd like to share information on, please do that in the Black Girls Ride group, and we'll make sure that we disseminate that information. Thank you again to all of you who stuck it out with us. We didn't have very many people drop off, which is a testament to you, Robyn. You had some
Thanks.
really good information. All right, guys, thank you so much and have a great evening.